Good morning, Sunny. Thanks for the opportunity to record this my story on a Houston voice. So we start. I am CB Uparkar from Mumbai. Uh, my age 72 at present. The story goes back. I was born in Mumbai in 1953. Uh, my father was employed in a textile mill.
Yeah, if you are not getting that free flow, we can restart again and
No problem. No
yeah,
problem. I know
initially
how
it
to.
was
Once you go
yeah,
into that, it will be
yeah,
better.
yeah.
Talking is
So
not a problem for me.
exactly,
I
yeah, it takes a little time to yeah. So begin again.
Sure. So we used to stay in one small part of Mumbai. After my childhood, at the age of fifth, I went to my hometown. It's in 400 kilometer from here, where I did my schooling. For primary schooling was done at that place, where my grandparents would stay. I was along with them. I had a lot of impressions of my grandparents on my initial days, because they made me uh, to go to a good school. In those days, the schooling was very hard, and I did my primary school up to fourth standard in my hometown. Around 1961, I came back to my parents in Mumbai, and my secondary school from 5th to 11th, I did it in Mumbai. We were staying in a place called Bandra along with my parents, my two brothers. Then I finished my 11th standard. In those days. It was 11th standard. I finished my 11th standard in 1968. Afterwards, I joined for higher study, but unfortunately, at that point of time, my the mill where my father was working had to be closed because of some issues at somewhere. So it was like a father lost my job. So in those days it was very hard to survive. So I had to take up, I thought of taking up a job rather than continuing my studies. So I started searching for the job. And in the newspaper I could see the one advertisement of a trainee. We used to search for the trainee job, because that time no, I was not skilled, or we were not skilled, so nobody would give us a skilled job. So it was a trainee, and I happened to see the advertisement for trainee employment of the local branch of the Otis Elevator Company India Limited, Mumbai. So it was a 5 years training, and I never knew that company, what was that, what was their product, but still, when I inquired, I had one of my distant uncle working at the factory of Otis. So that's how I came to know what is Otis, and they were into the line of elevator. That's the only thing I know when I joined. So in 1970 April, I was appointed as a, or I was given an employment as a field trainee in Otis Elevator Mumbai branch. So it was a 5 years training, and it started from 1st of April, uh, 30th of April 1970. I started my training. It was a very hard training, because the elevator line itself is a very hard, and in those days there was nothing like what we have today. Today the field has changed, very vast change in the entire scenario. But in those days we had to work with our own hands, work on the what is called as the erection of the elevator. We have to do it on the work on the scaffolding, We have never climbed anywhere on the bamboo, so this was working on the scaffolding on a multi-storied building. Inside the lift shaft was really a tough job with literally no protection at that point of time, never, no protection. Because today at least we have hard hat, safety shoe, full body harness, all those things there, but in those days there was nothing. So we literally worked against the flow. But still we completed the training, which included to go to all departments of the elevator line, installation, maintenance, major repairs, testing, all that thing. So at the 1975, I finished my training and I was given employment on a regular basis, and that's how I was put in a, depending on the proficiency, I was put in a service department in Mumbai. So I started my work as a employee as a service mechanic, and we could handling the equipment, maybe at that point of time 30-35 equipments in the area, and I worked for about 75 to 80, 4 years. Next 4 years I worked as a mechanic. After 4 years I was promoted as a supervisor. So I had about 22 people working under me as a supervisor. Very huge area in those days. Multiple equipment, different types of equipment we could see, because those were the days where we never had electronics. I entered in the elevator field. It was a basic electromechanical, so like a laborious job in those days. Laborious job in those days. So, but still we could handle it. So about 8 years, from 1970, 80 to 89, I worked as a supervisor. Did a lot of hardship, because it was traveling on a motorbike from side to side. Then face the hardship of the job site issues, all those things we could manage. Then 1989, we started there is a elevator line as another department, field engineering. So it was dealing with the engineering section of the elevator line. So I was transferred to that department because probably I did a good work in supervisory category. So they shifted me to, management shifted me to the field engineering, and I was given a task as a field auditor. Means I had to check the job which are either completed or which are either or in service, the jobs under maintenance, to check and then find out the abnormalities or irregularities or shortcomings, give it to the concerned people and get it done. This was a part of the quality improvement of the elevators, because there was a worldwide move at all level to improve the quality, and we used to have a world headquarter auditors visiting India on a yearly basis. So we learned a lot from them as to how the audit is to be done. And then after maybe 4 or 5 years, they thought that why not develop the auditors locally at all over the world. So World Headquarter came out with a certification of local auditor. So I was among one who were certified by World Headquarter in say 1990 or so. And then we started doing independently the audits in the country. At that point of time, Otis India was divided into four area zones rather: west, north, south and east. So I was a part of the west zone. So I was the auditor in west zone. So then we decided where is the current quality level and where do we go. So then we set the standards for our own improvement, and we monitored the standards through the continuous audit. So we used to do around. I had one colleague of myself to work with me, Mr. S.V. Dongre, who would also who was a part of our team. And then we both of us we did about 1,200 jobs per year. We did it for next almost 10 years. And what was found out what is the standard level in 1990, we set the target. It was around 65 rating at that point of time. We set the target of 75 rating for all jobs in our region. And we did, I am glad to say that we did achieve that. We pushed the people, or we gave the feedback, we made the improvements, we did all whatever possible to improve the overall standard to the level of 75. And that sets the ball rolling for the improvement in the quality. Then as the days progressed by, I became a part of the management team now. To start with executive 6, then executive 5, executive 4, so on. So I grew in that management category, and then slowly many things were added to my portfolio. As to I became the ISO auditor, then subsequently the subcontractor portfolio came to me, because we had a huge subcontractor team working for the operation, and all the subcontractors were to be monitored in a different way as per the World Headquarter guideline. So the department was formed, subcontractor support cell. That department came under me. So I was responsible for development of that particular area for a long time. So next 10 years again I handled the subcontractor support cell. Then subsequently the subcontractor support cell, I was also given the portfolio of safety. The elevator safety became the concern at that point of time, as the number of accidents had increased all over the world. So World Headquarter Otis Elevator India pushed the improvement in the safety standards into that. So that's how the safety department came under. I became the head of the safety department for the western region, and I handled it for another maybe together all this department I handled till 2011. Very nice exposure. In that I also became the part of the World Headquarter Safety Audit team. So I had to go twice in a year to the countries where they would set the schedule. So normally we were traveling to Southeast Asian countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Korea. I did around 8 years or 6 years. I did the audits, safety audits in all these places twice in a year. That was also another good experience, where I could see the different equipment, different procedures, different people, different standards, and then bring back and maybe try and implement some of those standards back home. So this is how we could manage the improvements in my area. And again, obviously the Otis management helped me a lot. They gave a lot of exposures I could get from Otis management, and nobody stopped us to learn anything new. That was we could learn a lot of things. Then subsequently in 2011 April, I opted for the retirement in Otis, and then for a short stint I was involved in the manufacturing of an elevator component with one of my friends, and I did it for almost 6 months. But somewhere latter part of the year, maybe at the end of the year, I had a call from Mrs. Johnson Lifts India Limited. They needed a field auditor for their office. So they asked me, are you interested in joining? So I said yes. So I joined Johnson in November 2011 as a field auditor for whole of North India. And then I started moving around the Johnson equipments, and then thought then whatever I saw, I think they needed a lot of improvement in their entire processes, product. So I was with Johnson till 2019. Next 9 years I was with Johnson. I mostly covered the whole of North India, and then the North India material was supplied by Johnson India Butibori factory. So I had to coordinate with Butibori factory with whatever problems I could see in the product, in whatever I visited, and then ensure that those product defects are taken care at the Johnson factory. So this cycle continued for next 9 years. So I am happy that I contributed to the improvement in the Johnson people mindset, Johnson the field employee mindset at the senior level management also, and the production level also. So there was I was I would say that I contributed a lot in the this improvement in Johnson in those 9 years. Then came the pandemic of Corona, which we had to stop all our working processes. So that's how I stopped working for Johnson. When the this restrictions got lifted, or the Corona restrictions were slightly loosened, then I started doing the freelancing for the lift auditing with some of my friends. So for next 2 years, I did freelancing auditing on the job sites which were completed by some other contractors, some other consultants. It continued for about 2.5 years. In 2021, there was a query from Lurchbet India. Now, Lurchbet India is the consultant concerned of Lurchbet worldwide, which is originating in US. So they have operations running in India, and there was a query that can you take over our field audit section, because they have a field audit section. So I said yes, I was there available, I could work. So I joined them in August 2021, and now for last 3 years or three and something more, because it's August, September, October, about 3 years I am working with Lurchbet as their head of the field audit team. We have about 4 auditors working under me, and then we cover whatever audits on the new installation, as well as under jobs under maintenance in whole of India. So we did cover a lot of jobs. Now I have an opportunity to cover the jobs of most of the elevator manufacturers in India, because we take the contract of that contract to audit from all sort of manufacturers, because it comes basically from the developer. So whatever service the contract they have, we have to check. So I get the opportunity to check the jobs of almost all multinational companies and the local companies. So that's again something which increased my knowledge level as well as my outlook, and that's how it is. So at the age of I am now 71, so still continue with this thing, but it is a very like a interesting, hard life. But I continued, and in that whole process, I traveled all along. My family, my friends, my colleagues, my uh, companies wherever I worked, they all supported me nicely. That's why this long journey of almost 54 years is possible. Thank you.
Okay, just start again. Sir, before concluding, I have
Start.
start. Sir, before concluding, I have 2-3 questions. You know, I am from Bhopal those days. First, during 1970s, you started your job in notice as a trainee. Do you remember some pioneers of those days? 70s, 80s, 90s? Some old names. Can you elaborate on Fortis Mumbai?
Yeah, I know because we have somebody like N.D. Remedius, who was my service head, Mr. T.C. Arana, who was the service head for the Western region. Then Mr. Bajaj was the managing director. Then if you come down the line, we had R.R. Iyer, we had Mr. C.V. Venkatraman, there Anand Shivan was my colleague. Then
Clevis Pereira.
Clevis Pereira was again, he was our outstation person. Then T.S. Rajgopalan was another of my colleague. Then Sharad Madvi was my boss for quite long time. He was a service manager for outstation. Then there is one Mr. P.K. Dikshit, who was handling upcountry operations for a quite long time. Then there is one, there were many like somebody, Tack Matthews, whom I trained in the initial days. He came as a training, then later on he became our colleague. So we had, then Ray Ribello was one of my colleagues. Then now we have
Develop Banerjee, Milan Chaudhary.
Milan Chaudhary was my colleague.
Dante.
Ronnie Dante was my colleague. So these are all people who we moved together, and then we, in fact, helped each other to like attain or improve our knowledge level. Anything. V. Sheshadri was one of my very renowned associate. Abhijit Dandekar, he is still there. I still working with Otis, and Stephen D'Souza. These are all. A.B. Fernandez, Vandan Manjara. These are all my H.C. Sheikh. These are. We all worked together. We all worked hand in hand and helped each other. We grew as more as a family than the company. So that is how it is. This is how we work.
Thank you, sir. You have not forgotten much, but it didn't happen intentionally. I know, because it was short notice to you. Another question. You joined as a union categorized employee as a service person, and later you moved in the executive level of the management. What was the difference, and was it a struggle working along with the union?
No, see, when initial stages, when we became confirmed employee, we became automatically the member of union. Okay, so that's how from say 75 onward till 80s, 80 to 70, till about 82, we were the part of the union. And whatever union action, agitation, we participated in that. Again, the union had its own agenda and I would say
For the
at some point of time, union did do good to break the initial like those restrictions. Like something we had when I started my this thing, they had a this thing DA, dearness allowance was a fixed dearness allowance.
Right.
Union agitation at maybe in 1976, it took off that restriction,
Right.
and that's where the salary
Boom.
rise started.
Booming, yeah.
Then it was one of the union decision to accept for, I remember, 175 rupees as a leave travel allowance.
Oh, yeah.
But at one point of time, it rose to your basic plus DA full
Yeah.
as a this thing. So unless it was started,
Yeah.
so union had, I wouldn't blame union.
It is for
I would
benefits.
they did a lot of things which I would say, because as a employee benefit, they have to think of a market, which they did. And I had no regrets or no that being a union member. And at the same point of time, as a management policy, somewhere they would ask us to shift to the management category. And union had no further scope for the growth.
Right.
So you have to accept.
Right.
So that is where we became from
Part of
supervisor to executive 6 category.
Right.
Then unless we became executive 6, we couldn't become executive uh,
That's
for 5, 4, 3.
yeah.
So that's how it is.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering that question. I have one small question. You know, you were working quite long time for Mumbai, but we have a lot of our upcountry stations. In Mumbai, you can see another employee, co-worker on the next station or along with the, in that station. But on upcountry, on a massive scale of states, they have only one or two employees representing one or two employees only for representing a state or districts. How you compare those employees with the Bombay?
Upcountry employees were, I would put them as a more hardworking than, because they had to manage the show, not like Mumbai had the union backup.
Right.
So they would the employees would say, no, I will work like this, I will work like this much time. But that was not a case of upcountry for a quite long time. So upcountry employees would they thought that it is my baby, and they would work for around the clock. That was one of the things where I could see, because I have moved to almost entire country. I have seen my smallest of the places. I have seen the biggest of the places. So the people would work round the clock for the company. They took that company as their second home or maybe first home. They were working like that. I have seen that.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Sir, you were visiting upcountry for quite a long time, and but you have some memories of some old people. They were really good at work and they were good personality, like violent. You had a good memory of them, like A.L. Fernandez. Or someone in Ahmedabad. Can you remember one or two fellows, something?
There are many, like say B.D. Sonagra from Gujarat, then John Lobo from Surat.
Uh-huh.
These are the old people. Then you have Abdul Hassan in Bhopal, Nanda Kumar in Bhopal. Your Tommy.
Tommy is there.
Tommy. Then you had one
Dabir is there.
Dabir in Indore.
Kunle in
Then
Nagpur.
Kunle in Nagpur. Then KP John in Korba. Raipur Korba. Then Pune whole group, PS Kale, Milan Chaudhary. Then
Sabnis.
so PS Sabnis was a branch head. So these are all people like
Yeah,
Goa.
Baroda
You
had
go
part-time,
to your
Panirwala.
Picardo.
Panirwala.
Panirwala, yes, in Baroda. Picardo was there in Goa. So all these people, I have pleasure to be with them. They were at that point of time, nobody would travel distant places. Or the way I remember first time when I went to Gujarat and as an auditor, then lot many things. Even we were surprised to see array, the things can happen. I remember the one lift in Ahmedabad when the lift was running with landing circuit door shorted. It worked with landing door open and everybody was shocked. Those were the days. So we came out of that situation. We did a lot of things. So all these people we could meet. Then Vishwakarma in Bhopal.
Yeah,
He was the
Jabalpur,
first
yeah.
person I met.
Gadkari. He was a
would
long
travel
time.
would travel from headquarters, because I remember Gadkari because he would call me at any place like his problem in the middle of the night also, and I had been to his many places where he had a problem. Like
Erection
maybe
or
one.
wiring
I
or-
remember Sirmore, visiting Sirmore.
Gym,
visiting his
Yes,
Ambejogai
Ah.
or his your Gharda Chemicals Chiplun.
Oh.
These are the jobs where he would take in the middle of the night, and I used to go and stay with him for the job resolution. So a lot of jobs of Gadkari I have travelled, like Bombay Hospital, Bhopal.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Indore, Bombay Hospital, Indore, I was
Mm.
there.
Yeah.
So I think I have seen many jobs of Gadkari.
Mm.
And that another chap, Catholic with him.
Uh, where
That
in
small,
Karaipur,
he is.
Korba?
No. He was all over in the Bhopal, Indore.
Uh,
He retired. He's retired. He's in Kerala now.
Oh, L. Fernandez.
No, L. Fernandez is in Bhopal.
Uh-huh.
The another small chap is the erector, basically erector and erection. Kerala chap, I don't remember
और
his name.
जेपी जॉन का
नहीं,
साथ में
जेपी जॉन का भी साथ में था वो, but he was basically
आइजक
Ison.
Oh, Jay Isaac?
Isaac.
Oh, okay.
So he was also, because I remember them taking care. We traveled all the way to this Sunil Singh, myself.
Oh,
we traveled to
Katni?
Satna.
ACC?
Katni.
ACC?
Satna, Katni.
Yeah,
Your,
Reva.
Rewa, Katni, Satna. So your that JP Cement. JP Cement. Reva. So all those, because I had opportunity to visit cement plant, thermal power station, hydroelectric project,
Aluminum plants, coal mines,
then steel factories
Steel
like
factories.
Bhilai,
Yeah, universal cables.
Universal
Cable
cable, like Bhilai, I am talking Bhilai I visited.
Oh, Bhilai steel
Then
plant,
your,
yeah.
Tata Steel, Jamshedpur.
Jamshedpur?
I visited all these places. These are the places that Otis gave me that opportunity.
That's
So
true,
that
absolutely.
most of the major industries I have visited all over.
Thank you.
Like Atul Industries in this thing, there are 27 elevators in Balsad. So all those places I could visit.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Before concluding, I have one more question. That's very personal. Sir, you have completed almost 50 years with Otis Elevator Company in India.
Total
Totally.
54
Or
years.
50 in elevator industry.
Yeah.
How we can relate an elevator industry job with your siblings or your cousins or how you are positioned? Is it you are at a higher level or you are doing the same with the peers or something? Can you establish?
Come again?
Your job in Otis give you at what level? Are they in par with your cousin's job or you are at a higher level of job, higher job? आपका ओटिस का जॉब से आपको आपका कजिन वगैरह से आपका ब्रदर सिबलिंग से आप कंपेयर करेंगे तो आपका लेवल हाउ satisfied and how better it
I am
was?
satisfied because see, if you ask me, my one brother is chartered accountant.
Okay.
Cost accountant. One brother is he is in the pharmaceutical industry.
Okay.
He is into manufacturing medicine. So these are my brothers. If you see my daughter, she is the head of the department.
Right.
Then if you ask my
Other
other
cousins
colleagues, they are
are-
also at
Yeah.
this thing. So we are at more
Most
or
of the
less.
par same. Bombay jobs are almost
No,
same.
even
same.
otherwise, other
Otherwise-
places also, we are at the
But-
good level. I think like
yeah.
see, even my this nieces, nephews, they are well placed. So we are more or less at the same level, or maybe.
And of course, Otis selects boys with very high caliber study, scores of higher secondary, right? For your
No, when I joined, I was I passed the secondary school in those days. That was 11th standard. But later on, when I realized yes, you need a additional qualification, I did join engineering, electrical engineering. At the same time, there was a requirement by the company to have a professional qualification, which is it was a must for people working in the field, that is electrical supervisor license.
Right.
So I had to get that because without that was a company requirement that if you want the promotion you have to do that minimum. So we have to do that. So I did that, and then parallelly we studied for engineering also. So I did that electrical engineering.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sharing your experience with the Houston Voice. Thank you so much. See you then.
Thank you.
थक गए आप?
नहीं, I used to talk.
थकेंगे नहीं?
नहीं,
नहीं
नहीं,
थके।
नहीं, वो
I can keep talking.
कैमरा के सामने लाने का मुश्किल है किसी को. आप थोड़ा कुछ बनाएंगे 2 मिनट.
नाही बोल ना काय त्याच्यात. नाही तो त्याला म्हणजे असं त्याचं म्हणणं आहे.